Whoa. Hey, we are working out a quick technical difficulty. Thank you for your patience. We'll be right there. And we're live.
All right. Whoa, that is loud. How's everyone doing tonight? We are live for our Threads podcast. This is episode number 15. We are doing live streams now, so
I gave in.
Ben gave in after one of Ben's well, I would say boss. I guess he's your boss, Tyler. Said you guys should live stream. I'm like,
yep.
Yes. So yeah, we have been on a hiatus for the holidays. It was awesome, just to kind of get away a little bit. And it was a good holiday season. It was busy as always. How was yours?
Oh man, it was good. I feel like I just got really quiet. There we go. I got to talk into the mic.
Yeah, that usually does help.
Yeah, Christmas was good. We did the family thing Christmas Eve, and then, man, it was like 4 nights in a row of family parties. Maybe not 4, but close to it. And then we escaped to Chicago the day after Christmas. So
yeah, those family parties had to be like tough for you because I mean they're good, not tough,
they're very good,
but it's a lot.
It can be,
yeah,
especially when you've got a lot of people in a small space. That can be challenging.
Yeah. So
being an introvert, I thrive off of my own alone time, and with family parties at the holidays, I don't get a ton of that. So
okay. Yeah, it was. Yeah, like I said, there's nothing really special about Christmas. I mean, it was a good time. And we have been off for a couple of weeks. Our last episode was actually pre-recorded. So I got some feedback. I was a little worried about the podcast with David. Not worried.
Yeah.
Because it's really deep. And,
it is.
And talked to Megan, and she was like, that was amazing.
Really?
So I was pretty excited about that. Awesome. I have not listened back to it yet, but
it's 2 hours.
It's 2 hours.
It's a lot of commitment.
Right. But we should listen to it if we want others to.
I got about half an hour into it. So
I have been, now that I've been doing Shipped a little bit more, I listen to podcasts the whole time. So I've been able to catch up on stuff, but I haven't caught up on ours yet. But no, it was a good episode. You guys should check it out. It's pretty deep in regards to. I don't think it's that deep. I think
we moderately deep is probably a better
word.
word.
Yeah. Longest episode on record.
Yes.
So, but yeah, it was good. Yeah. Other than that, we are back at it. It's the new year.
It is.
We haven't skipped a beat. This will go. The people that listen to just the audio will be on Friday.
Yep.
But with the video, you can listen to it tonight.
Are you going to edit before Friday, or is that my job?
I think I did everything over Christmas, so
you did. I owe you.
I think you are on the hook this week.
Yeah,
so
okay, fine.
No, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad we finally sat it down. I know we both were kind of dragging our feet a little bit just because it'd been nice to down here. I hadn't been down here like very much at all.
Wow.
So it was kind of a nice break.
Yeah, for sure. And with that break, that break in conversation as well.
Ben's gonna have to struggle. He may struggle a little bit because he's looking at the live stream.
Got 3 different windows open.
Right. So I apologize for that. I should have led you into it. So
seriously, man.
Seriously.
So every week we do a personal update. Beyond just the how was your week? How was Christmas? We take it a little bit deeper. Just focus on an area of life. That maybe it's something that we learned or experienced or something that moved us within the last 2 or so weeks since we last recorded. So for me, it is New Year's resolution season, and I wouldn't say I made a New Year's resolution to get healthier, but I guess I did make one. Not necessarily tied into the new year, just in general. It's been in the works for a while. I tried a smoothie diet thing for a while, and it's just not practical for every single day.
Well, I think when you started that, it was like 2 weeks before Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
I mean, like at that point, you're like, forget about it. Let's just get through the amazing food for the holidays,
exactly,
and so then start over.
Yep.
So how's it been going? It's called Noom, right?
I'm doing Noom. Correct.
Can you explain that to people a little bit?
Yeah, it is like Weight Watchers for millennials. Is how they advertise themselves. And it's actually pretty spot on.
Okay.
The millennial side of me that likes everything digital is loving the app. There's a ton of psychology with it. They have articles, short little articles that you read each day to keep you motivated. They have quizzes to review what you learned from the articles. They have you log your weight every morning. You track your calories. But it's been like an incredibly different food tracking system. Like it's color coded. I guess they kind of stole that from Weight Watchers with the points system that Weight Watchers has. But there's red food that you're supposed to not eat too much of, yellow, and then green. And green foods are unlimited. So
okay.
So yeah, it's been working really well. I started officially a week ago, and according to the scale, I've lost 8 pounds.
That's awesome.
So,
what do you feel about weighing in every day? Now, I've done the off and on diets. Megan does too. I mean, we go for a while where we're eating great, and then we go back and because some places we did medical weight loss for a while, and I lost some weight, but they're like, yeah, we don't want you to. No, it wasn't them. It was another one we did. I don't know. Basically, they said only weigh yourself once a week.
Yeah, there's definitely two schools of thought there. With Noom, they say because they focus so much on the psychology of weight loss, they want it on your mind consistently.
I think that makes sense because if you weigh yourself on Friday, you're like, oh, I'm good. You know, I'm going to splurge a little bit. Sure. And then you weigh yourself on Monday and you're like, ooh. But if you weigh yourself on Friday, then Saturday, then you're like, ooh, I gotta cool it.
Yeah.
Or drink more water or whatever.
Exactly.
Cool. Yeah. So obviously, Megan's doing it too. And so far she's doing
Noom?
Yeah.
Really?
She signed up.
I didn't know that.
I told you that.
No, you didn't.
You were in your introvert sad sack party at one point. Yeah. She's basically started the same time you did.
Really?
Yeah.
Like a week ago.
Yeah, I sent you a message.
I must have missed it.
Yeah, so she likes it too. Yeah, it's just a different approach to it.
Yeah. And they have coaches that check in with you and give you ideas.
Well, it was funny. The first 2 weeks is free.
It is.
And then after you pay, then you get to connect with that personal coach one-on-one. Right?
Well, I've been talking with my goal coach, so you get a little bit of a preview.
Okay, yeah.
But it's not as in-depth as it would be if you were a paying
Because I think when you pay, it's like any time you can message somebody, right?
There's a support group. I just feel like I'm really quiet. But again, it's my head. You sound good. But
you can turn it up. Let's see, where are you connected? You're up all the way. Is that better? Is that better?
Yes.
Is that better?
Sure.
Is that better? Mm-hmm. Or are you just saying it?
It's really loud now, but we're good. I am so high maintenance. My bad.
Snowflake.
It's true.
So good. Yeah, I'd like to every couple of weeks just see how you're doing and
And the food has been a big change. Like I went from eating whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted, to now planning my meals. Like at night, I put together lunch for the next day.
Yeah.
And then, for dinner, we throw a bunch of vegetables and saute them or whatever and do a couple chicken breasts, and that's dinner. And it's actually quite filling with all those veggies.
Yeah.
So,
well, cool.
Big change.
Yeah, a lot of planning. I know there's a lot of prep work that goes into that. So that's what Megan hates the worst. That's what she gets tired of it, is like prepping all the food on Sunday for the week and stuff. But
sure.
It pays dividends because you're not scrambling during the week. And
I thought it was going to be a lot harder than it is. like having a completely different diet, different way of eating, it's actually been so far so good.
Yeah.
But again, I'm probably in the honeymoon phase, and
Yeah,
there's
you
going to
are.
come a day when I really want B-dubs, and I'm going to have to not have as much.
Yeah, just tone it down a little
Yeah,
bit.
exactly.
You don't need 12 wings. You can have 4.
There you go. So
Yeah, about the New Year's resolutions, I don't make those. I think they're dumb. I do reflections, and I kind of feel like your jumping on the new program isn't a New Year's resolution. You reflect it. It's a good time to say, how was the year? Like, where did you struggle? You obviously, it was the health end, so you're like, I'm going to do it. So I don't look at it as a New Year's resolution, but I mean, what's the point? No one ever follows through.
I mean,
and it's a lot of pressure.
Is super busy the first couple weeks of the year,
right.
And then it goes back down.
Well, it's funny with Ship. There's a lot of like people eating rice cakes, so I go get them, and there's like 1 pack, and I'm like texting the customer saying, "Hey, they have 1 pack of caramel. Are you interested?" Or the light bread, or it's like 35 calories, which is fine, but it's January, the gyms are packed, and so, but no, I didn't make any New Year's resolutions because I don't. I can't say I haven't in the past, but just not interested. So
I'm not either. I'd rather focus on more than just a year at a time.
Well, I think the problem is when you make that New Year's resolution and you don't do it, you feel like a failure.
Oh yeah.
And not that I'm just mailing in, not doing it, so I don't feel like a failure, but set it up as like, this is what I want to work on in 2019. Like, I'm not going to be like, I'm going to do this. And then some people, maybe it works, but I would have to say maybe 20% are successful on their, or maybe less. I don't know. I'm sure I could find that stat on the internet.
We can fact check that sometime.
Yeah. So my learned or experience, or just kind of another personal update. One is I ended up before Christmas, a week before, like freaking out and leaving all our groups. Ben and I had just hit our wall, and I unplugged from all our groups, our rideshare groups, everything I unplugged from it. It was absolutely amazing. It was such a good break. Like,
it was nice to.
It was, Megan, it was funny. After I had done that, for the next couple of days, I kept losing my phone. And
that's not like you.
No, and I have an Apple Watch so I can ding it, and she's like, "Why do you keep dinging your phone?" I'm like, "I don't know where it is." And she's like, "Why?" I'm like, "I'm just not on it much. I'm not doing business. I'm not sending messages to my boyfriends." And so, yeah, it was great. It was a good thing for us to do. I wish it didn't happen the way it did.
Yeah,
but it is what it is.
Yeah, we were kind of sick of each other, I think.
Yeah, we were really pushing hard towards the end of the year with GR, and not so much with Threads, but with GR. And I think we're just like, all right, people. So,
we're done.
Yeah. Christmas, a couple of connection things. I had Christmas with my mom at the nursing home, or whatever you call it, assisted living. And it was good. Like, awesome. It was really good. She just seems happy. I mean, I know she's not all there, but at least she's happy, right?
Sure.
Can you imagine? I mean, not even imagine. I know there's people there that sit there and cry all day. You know what I mean? And it's just like, oh, but no, that was good. And then the kids were in a play at church, and it was
cool.
So awesome. It was written by the youth director, like,
oh, nice,
music and everything.
Wow.
Like, she's that talented, and it was, church based, but it had some humor in it and stuff too. And Sully was actually in it, and he did a good job. He didn't have any lines. He had to bring a prop to somebody and then sing. He was like chorus.
Okay.
But yeah, that was cool.
That's awesome.
So that's it on my update. Next, we kind of talk about a flub or failure, and this is where I would love to have people chime in, and so we don't feel like complete losers and say, yeah, I had a flub this week, it's tough. I talk about this before. It's hard for me to remember my flub, so I have to ask my wife. There, I said it right.
Not the wife.
Right. But yeah, what about you? What was your flub or failure in the last 3 weeks? Are you typing to somebody?
I am actually pulling up that group we're in, just want to make sure that it actually posted.
Oh, to promote your podcast group? It's a tough time, too.
It is.
I mean, last time we recorded, it was later at night on the weekend.
Anyway, it did post. My flub, I told Jason about this one after it happened. It was just epic.
Epic.
So I mentioned earlier in the show the fact that sometimes we escape to Chicago. Well, not sometimes. For the last 2 years, we've escaped to Chicago. After all of our family get-togethers and everything else that comes with the holidays, we just unplug and head for the big city just to unwind. Last year, we did a ton of, I guess you could call them introverted activities. We didn't go to any super busy tourist spots like the Museum of Science and Industry. Mm-hmm. But this year, we switched gears a little bit and did more of the touristy sightseeing type of stuff in Chicago, which the week between Christmas and New Year's is not a good time to do that stuff if you're not a people person. So there was just
here's a pro tip from Ben.
Yeah, stay away from the Museum of Science and Industry during that week, Christmas break.
I can imagine if it was terrible weather, like all because Chicago didn't have any snow either, right?
Nope.
So can you imagine if it was blistery and a foot of snow, how much busier it would have been?
It was crazy. Like, I like to go to museums and be able to see the exhibits and actually take them in. But, like, you felt this pressure of you walk up to the exhibit, but then there's so many people behind you waiting to see it too. And so you just have to move through really quick.
Don't you wish you could be the person, like, and I'm sure Andy is, like, I'm just going to take as much time as I want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Not me,
I'm not me either. I'm not. Yeah, you feel bad. Like you're like not feel bad, but you're like, okay, someone else wants to see it. I'd be like, I paid for admission. I wish I could just be like, I'm gonna not to be rude about it, but just be like, I'm gonna take 2 or 3 minutes to take it all in.
Mm-hmm. So after that day, I was done. Like we came back to the hotel, and Andy took the kids to the pool. I just sat in the hotel room and did a meditation on the Calm app. And then I went out and picked up dinner for the night. Came back. We all settled in for the night. Next day was our last day of the trip. And one of the things we did last year that the kids loved was we went to the Cheesecake Factory and had cheesecake because it's delicious. So we go, and of course, we went to a different location that was much busier. We went to the one in the suburbs, and so it was going to be like an hour wait for a table. And we didn't want to wait for an hour, so we just jumped in line in the to-go line. But then Andy's like, well, let's go just get it to go and take it into the mall, and we'll just eat in the food court. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. And I just kind of started to flip my lid a little bit. At that point, I had reached my limit. Like the day before, I reached my limit. And I was just peopled out. I just couldn't do it. And it sounds silly now, but in that moment, it was like, no, I don't want to take my cheesecake and go sit in the random food court in the mall. Like, no, I'll just go to the car. You guys have your fun, and I'll see you at the car. So I just abruptly start walking out. Andy comes after and tries to grab me and convince me to stay. And I'm just like, no, I'm going to the car. I'll see you later.
Yeah.
So about 10 minutes later, they all show up in the car with bags of cheesecake, and we took it on the road and ate it at our first stop. So, but I was to the point of just tears and like just feeling so overwhelmed, and I was like, this is just crazy. So
what do you think you could have done better to eliminate that?
Speak up.
Yeah.
And not just
internalize it.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. That's huge. One thing I've learned with Megan is just the communication is crucial, because if you're bottling that up, the other person, they may notice, they may be like, something's not quite right, but they don't want to pry, you know what I mean? They want to be respectful to your feelings. But yeah, as guys, I've learned you just got to communicate. I mean, guys like to internalize stuff anyways, and even Megan struggles with that. I'm like, you got to let me know. Like, if you let me know, I can work on something. Or
we're not mind readers.
Right, and vice versa. Yep. So, Well, I'm glad when you were describing the let's get it and go in the food court, I would have been like, are you high? I'd be like, let's get it and go to the hotel or whatever.
Well, we had checked out of the hotel at this point. So, yeah.
So when you say your first stop, like driving home? Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right. So that's probably why she wanted to go to the food court.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
But, you know.
I guess the thing was, if you were going to go in the food court, why wouldn't you just wait for a table and sit down?
I know.
So is that like a full restaurant too? I've never
is.
been. Okay. Yep. So it's not just cheesecake.
Nope.
Apparently there's a cheesecake place right downtown Granville.
Interesting.
And a brand new coffee place.
I heard about
We got to check it out. It's called Wild Roast Coffee, I think. Super hipster.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
because you're such a hipster.
no, I'm not. I mean, it's super I'm not gonna say. I'm gonna say it millennial. Although I haven't gone in there yet, so I shouldn't. But I can just see from the pictures. Yeah. But I'm interested in how much a cup of coffee is there because you go to Big B and like a 20 ounce is like $5 something. Yeah. I wonder what theirs is, but I'm gonna try to get down there this weekend.
Awesome.
So, yeah. My flub is more
not letting somebody finish your sorry. I was just
perfect transition. Perfect transition.
See what I did there?
I see what you did there. Yeah. And you know this, and all the boys know this, and I struggle with it, is not letting people finish what they're going to say and trying to finish like I know what they're going to say.
Or responding to voice messages before you even heard the whole message.
I'm so impatient. Like, I'm like, if it was like a 30-second message, I'm like, all right, I'll play it out. But if it's like 90 seconds and I hear something, the problem is because a lot of times I'll have thoughts that enter my brain and I want to get them out because if I don't, I'm going to forget about it and then it's gone. Yeah. So, Megan's been really mad at me for that, and I got to work on it. And it's just, and half the time I'm wrong. Half the time she's like, what am I going to say then? Ooh. And I say it, I'm like, she's like, no.
She's just messing with you though?
No, I don't think she is. I don't think she would do that. Maybe she does, but no, I just need to stop doing it. I just need to slow down. And it's so disrespectful. I mean, to the guys, it's one thing. You can blow it off a little bit or like what an a-hole or whatever. But like to your wife or your spouse, it is kind of disrespectful to not let them just finish their thought. Yeah. So I need to work on that. And I asked Meg, I'm like, I know I'm perfect, but can you think of a flub?
Was that hers?
Yeah, it was. And I'm like, you know what? You're so right on. Like that is something that I need to work on. So, but yeah, other than that, I didn't have any too crazy things. I was a good husband. Megan got really sick after Christmas, and I took care of her, and so I'm patting myself on the back for that.
Way to go!
But all right, so next up, we always have a God question, and it's just good to kind of reflect on some things about God. It's part of our lives. We go to church every week. We try to go to church every week.
Every week.
Try to work every week. But Ben had a question. Do you think God would want us to set New Year's resolutions, or does he think it's a waste of time? I mean, I brought up the New Year's resolutions earlier.
Yep.
I mean, I don't think he thinks about it.
I don't think so either.
Right, like
he exists outside of time and space.
Yeah, it's so weird to think about that. Like, I know. And we go back to this all the time with like the faith thing. I'm like, how can he know everyone's plan in the entire world, when it's going to happen, how it's going to happen? Like, it's just weird. How do you even? I can't even wrap my mind around that. Just like I can't wrap my mind around the universe and how many stars and planets and et cetera. I mean, it's insane. Do you think? I mean, I don't getting off topic. Do you think we're the only living beings out there?
No. Oh, no.
Really?
In my current event, I'll touch on that.
Oh,
actually.
Yeah.
So
I don't think so either, but I don't know.
We're just a speck.
I know, but universe. Why our speck? Like, why? I don't know. It's so strange.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so I don't think he really cares about it. I think he wants us to succeed, but I don't think he says, I'm going to lose 10 pounds. He's like, oh, you go, Jason. But what about you?
Yeah, I think he's concerned with the bigger picture of our lives. what story are we writing with what he's given to us? And our story is more than just a year, and I think New Year's resolutions can be good building blocks, but I really don't think he's watching and taking record if we followed through on our resolutions or not.
Well, I think unless it has to do with church, and he's
maybe.
like, try to go to church more, or be more, go to a Bible study or whatever. I'm sure he's all about that.
Sure.
But yeah, I think that's such a minuscule level, like a New Year's resolution. I don't even think he even, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But maybe he does. I don't know. Maybe he likes to drink coffee. Maybe he likes to get up in the morning and have some alone time. And I don't know. But I don't think New Year's resolution. So
Yeah, and I had a really good thought, but it's gone now.
oh,
So,
geez. You're getting old like me.
no, it's sad.
Yeah. Crazy. Ben is going to post a couple of photos. These were kind of something we brought up, and you'll have to read him because I don't have access to that. So, people commenting that's close to me like that because they know I'll probably drive to their house. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But I see some of the hateful things. I'm like, you would get punched in the face if you said that to somebody out in the real world.
No kidding.
And people that would be a good reflection for 2019. Just slow your roll a little bit.
Yeah. And I even think about like the rideshare groups we're a part of. It's just second nature to be snarky and snippy and mean to people there.
Yeah, it is. Oh, man, I have to try so hard not to.
I know.
Like I have to say, you know what? It's no big deal. Even today, someone was posting about tax stuff already. I'm like, oh man, I'm like, when do we get our W-2s?
You don't get a W-2.
Yeah, or 1099. They have till the end of the month, so.
Yeah. And they don't have to write a 1099 unless you make 20K or more.
Yeah, it's super weird.
Yep.
How they do that.
I know.
It is confusing. I get it, but I mean, it's January 7 or 8 or something. And,
people like to file early.
well, yeah, they want to get a big tax refund.
Yep.
So, and the other one Ben posted, and we'll post these on Facebook at some point this week. But where they're at, and they still fail a lot. I mean, they're doing it now. I mean, they got all these businesses, but they're along that way was a lot of failure.
Yeah.
So,
and it's so true. You learn from those, and it's what helps get you to those mountains.
I hate failing though. Like in the moment, I'm just like, this sucks. Like, why can I not get this?
Yeah.
So, all right, we're going to jump into current events. Do we have anyone chiming in, or is it just dead zone?
There's one viewer, and I think it's me.
Oh, well, I got to scratch my head.
So we have a break. Do you want to do a break? It says transition to break.
So are we going to do
current events?
Are we going to do the breaks live then?
I don't know. Are we? Man.
Hi, guys. This is Ben and Jason from Threads Podcast. We would love for you to review us on iTunes and Google Play and Podbean and whatever the frick you watch your show on, because like I can't even keep track of all this stuff. But let's face it, iTunes moves the needle. So if you could go to itunes.com/podcast or itunes.com/threads podcast, I don't know. Just download our freaking podcast, subscribe, rate, and review. And we do have a merch store. It's zazzle.com/threads podcast. If you do put a review on there, it better be 5-star. We'll send you a t-shirt from our show with the logo on it for free. So, yep, just go to iTunes. That's about, I mean, even if you have an Android phone, you can download iTunes on your Mac or your computer. Of course, your Mac there, of your Windows PC, and you can do it there. So, yeah.
There it is.
Current events. Oh, you're finally doing timestamps? Roughly 22 minutes.
Well, I don't have we didn't start a timer today.
That's your job, bro. You're the producer.
I know. I kind of forgot that one.
So I got a couple. Let's go with Ben's first because it kind of has to do with the space talk.
Yeah.
Do you like how I did that?
Did you do that on purpose?
Yeah, I read your article.
No, you didn't.
You want to bet? Kidding. I skimmed it real fast, and it started nerding out, and I was like, nope, I'm done.
It is fairly nerdy, but man. So when we were at the Museum of Science and Industry, I didn't have a whole lot of fun with 90% of it, but the end of the day, we went to a dome movie.
Yeah, I saw you posting about that.
It was incredible. Like, have you been in one of those dome theaters?
I get sick, and when we were on our way to Pensacola last year, we stopped in somewhere near Nashville or Memphis, or there's a big museum there too, and they had one of those.
Nice.
I got sick. I had to close my eyes for the rest of the thing. I was like, I'm gonna throw up.
Yeah, it's trippy.
Yeah,
but it was all about space, and then there were also exhibits that showed just how small and minuscule planet Earth is in the whole
grand
cosmos.
scheme.
It's just like, whoa, this is crazy. So recently in Seattle, TESS, which is NASA's Training Exoplanet Survey Satellite.
See, what's weird about that, when I read this article, I'm like, I've never even heard of this. Why aren't we seeing more of this?
Yeah, so it's basically a satellite that NASA has sent up, and it just looks for other planets. It's a high-powered telescope, so it can see very far. And apparently this thing has caught 8 new planets in its first 4 months of observing. 8 that we didn't know about before.
So check it. Oh, freaking ad. Are you kidding me? So take the third found planet, HD 21749b, only 52 light years away. How do they even get something? How as Earth are they getting a piece of equipment that can get pictures? That blows my mind.
It's crazy.
Not just the space, but like, how are you getting this thing up here, and how is it getting back to Earth?
Seriously.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. I know we just talked about it, but I'm like, I was just reading. I'm like, 52 light years. How many miles is that?
That's a lot of
Can we get a conversion, please?
Yeah, only 52 light years away. No, and then in that movie, they also talked about colonizing Mars and how that is feasible.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
Do they want to colonize Mars because there's resources there? Is that what it is? Because why not go to the moon?
Yeah.
The moon seems safer.
Right.
But I don't think there's any resources. There's no water there. But I think Mars has some water.
Limited resources. I don't know how many.
Here's a question. Would you go? If you, like, let's say you didn't have a family or whatever, just a single guy.
I think so, if I was single.
You'd be like, I'm out? Because you know you're not coming back, right?
You can come back.
No. It's a one-way.
No.
I read it was a one-way.
Well, actually, you're right, because they don't have the technology to launch you back yet.
Right. They would have to build it and everything. But
Yep.
as of right now, it's a one-way.
It's one-way for now until they build ascending
Or
facility.
what if it's a trap?
It's the end of the world. Yeah.
As we know it.
But I feel fine. Anyway.
Who sings that?
REM.
Of course
You thought you would trap me, didn't you?
I think it would be fun to play, although we're different generations a little bit with music. The lights are driving me nuts. Earlier, they were flickering so bad. It was crazy. I'm like, what is going on? Name that tune.
I would be horrible at it.
Yeah, we got our last episode, we got copyrighted on YouTube for,
Really?
I think it was one of the Rudolph, maybe it was Frosty the Snowman and one other one. I'm like, are you serious, people? You clearly know I'm not. You know what I mean? Like, It was so funny. But yeah, thanks for posting the space stuff. I think with like NASA NASA's not part of the government anymore, right? Like they closed.
Are, I'm pretty sure.
But didn't the government, didn't like Obama or somebody shut it down, or it's bankrupt, or I don't know, something like that. I thought so. I thought there was like no funding from the government anymore. That's why everyone was excited about Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Musk. Like my stinky Musk.
So, I guess, yeah, you're right. They did stop a lot of operations. However, they are still supporting communication between the International Space Station.
Yeah. Yes. I maybe what it was is they were they're not launching rockets anymore, like the space shuttle. They're not doing that anymore, which is a freaking shame.
Yeah, it is.
Shame. All right.
Shame.
Next one. This one's for me. I got a bunch of them. I had already. Give me a second for this to load. So this one's about a guy that was super frugal. It's loading. I don't really need the article, but here we go. No, I don't want to do it on this. Sorry. I'm having trouble.
That's normal.
That's normal. So it's about a guy, he's a social worker and super frugal. I mean, the guy used to duct tape his shoes together.
That's awesome.
He would take his friends out to eat at fast food places. He would go to the deli at the end of the day to get a discount on food. Just super, super cheap. And he was very private. And he never married and never had any kids. And when he died of cancer, he donated, or in his will, his $11 million will was to all the children's charities for kids that are abandoned, foster homes, like all of that. He had taken care of his brother who had disabilities, and he died in 2013. But it's just, wow, no one expected him. I mean, they knew he was cheap, but yeah, he was a former banker and then worked the past 2 decades at the State Department of Social Health and Services. He earned $67,000 a year and also took on side gigs, sometimes working as many 3 jobs. Wow. He saved and invested enough to make several $1 million and also inherited millions from his... Okay, so he got some millions from his parents.
Sure.
But either way, he earned a bunch on his own, too. But, yeah, when his brother died, he splurged and bought, like, a brand new car, and it was like a Scion something. It wasn't even like something crazy, but
a nerdy car.
Yeah, a nerdy car. But it's just, I mean, I don't know.
What a legacy!
What a legacy! It's just a shame that he didn't have any kids. I mean, I know it's not for everybody. I understand that.
Sure.
I completely understand it, and it's your choice. But man, it seemed like a good guy. Had some good values, and wow, yeah, he left $2.5 million to the pediatric interim care center. It's a group of he paid off their mortgage.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, holy cow.
That's the kind of legacy I want to leave.
He left $900K to the Treehouse Foster Care Organization. telling them that he was a foster parent years ago and brought kids in his care to the group's popular warehouse. Gosh darn it, man. Guy was awesome.
Yeah.
I always wonder, though, I wish I could be much more frugal, but did he enjoy his life? I mean, maybe he made it a game. I mean, obviously he can't answer that.
Yeah.
But what a cool thing to do.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you were talking about your legacy. You want to leave do you have something in mind, or?
I mean, I would just like to have something left when I'm gone that can be passed on to benefit others.
Right. I mean, everyone wants to die, and you want people to remember you. Mm-hmm. And it's a little bit narcissistic, but that's okay. I mean, I hope that when I pass, that I can pass on finances to my kids or something that can keep going. Something I might have been passionate about, whether it be Young Life or whatever, or podcasting.
Would you agree or disagree with the statement? You don't get to pick your legacy.
You don't. I agree. You don't get to pick it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
It's a sum. You can't control how people are going to remember you.
Depends on, what you talk about. If you talk about donating money, well, then yes. I mean, you can say, I'm going to donate $2 million to this. But yeah, you're right. When it talks to how you impacted people's lives, I want people to be like, yeah, Jason, he was kind of rough around the edges, but he was always willing to help, and he was a good friend, and he volunteered a lot. Like, that's what I want people to, or he's a good dad, like whatever. Mm-hmm. But yeah, now we're getting deep talking about us dying. All right, next up, this is kind of an old story. This is the GoFundMe for the wall. Did you?
Oh my goodness!
So have you followed that at all?
I have, but I have not donated.
Oh yeah. I haven't either.
I don't plan to.
So if you have been living,
he's gonna go on primetime TV tonight to beg for money.
He is. Mm-hmm. So yeah, if you've been living under a rock, here's the thing: he's a veteran, and
Donald Trump is gonna go on primetime TV tonight.
Oh, he is. Mm-hmm. About what?
About the wall.
No. Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe I don't get into that politics. I don't understand the government shutdown. Like, what is going? Like, why are we shut down? Is it because of the wall?
It is.
So he's basically saying, I'm not signing this budget until this wall gets built. I don't like to get in a lot of politics, but that's just stupid.
Yes.
I mean,
it is.
So anyways, back
to the story.
This disabled veteran, I think he lost both his legs, started this GoFundMe, and the original goal was set at 200 million, and then he bumped it to $1 billion. Well, I looked tonight; it's at 19.6 million. So they're not even close to the 200 million. I think it burned hot and heavy, and then it's kind of died off. Well, the article I have isn't a good one because it's the initial one, because this is December 19. But I read a couple other articles saying they can't use that money for that anyways. It doesn't work that way. You can't just, here's a check to the government.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be cool if you could do that. Like, you could crowdfund something. Like, would you spend $100? Would you donate $100? We could crowdfund our roads.
Yes.
Like, wouldn't you be like, yes,
Absolutely.
I will give $100 if these roads are taken care of?
Yeah.
So I think probably why he's only at 19.6 million is because they can't use the money for that. I don't know what's going to happen. Are they just going to refund everyone's money or what?
I have no idea. That's a good chunk of money there.
That's a lot of money.
So the average donation was $60.
Yeah,
person.
He said something, if everyone that voted for Trump donated $80, they would have the $1 billion.
Of course they would. That is so, yeah.
What's your thought about that wall? I mean, we've kind of touched on Eric.
So ineffective.
Yeah. Oh, it would?
Well, think about it. That's not our only border crossing. I mean, what about Canada? Why aren't we building a wall between Canada and the United States?
Because we don't get illegal aliens from Canada.
Sure we do.
Well, not ones that are causing issues.
Perhaps.
Canada is the nicest country in the world. When have you ever seen on the news a Canadian immigrant causing trouble?
Have you seen Border Patrol? It's on Netflix. You should watch it.
I watched it a little bit.
That's really good. But
is that the one where they're at the airport?
Airport, and then there's like some bridge terminals in Detroit and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They're out there. There are people with not good intentions that try to get into our country from all points.
Absolutely.
And a wall isn't going to stop them. Ladders.
Yeah.
And a lot of immigrants that come in illegally, they're coming in with visas and then overstaying on those visas. So they're not walking in, they're flying in.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of the abuse of the system is happening. So you can fly over a wall in an airplane very easily.
Yeah.
I guess if you buy into the storyline of all these criminals that are migrating up this way, sure, a wall makes sense. But that's just a sliver of the whole problem of immigration.
Absolutely. And I am fine with anyone coming over here, but you got to do it the right way.
Yeah.
And maybe we take this money that they're wanting for the wall and fund some programs to educate these people and be like, hey, I know your visa's expired. Mm-hmm. This is, for the next 30 days, you can come in, we'll get it straight, and you're good. Mm-hmm. So they're not worried about getting deported. Because that's why they're not coming forward, because they know they're going right back. And as long as you're law-abiding and working, I don't know. I just think you could take that money, because I agree with the wall. What a waste of, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just kind of stupid.
It's not, I understand the theory and the logic behind it.
I do too.
But again, it's just so small, such a small part of the bigger problem of immigration.
But you will agree the wall will stop some.
It would stop some. It's not going to stop all.
No, it's never going to stop all.
Yeah.
So.
And I don't know that the price tag, I don't think the ROI is there. The return on investment.
Is it ever with the government?
No.
I would like them to see them to work more on terrorism stuff than worrying about the illegal immigrants.
No kidding.
But, yeah. We'll move on from that. We'll see. I didn't know he was speaking. I don't have regular TV. I wouldn't watch it anyways, but I have better things to do.
Seriously.
Talk to my friend. All right, last up, this pastor of a megachurch, speaking of money.
Oh, my gosh.
So the pastor receives rousing support from congregation after giving his wife a $200,000 Lamborghini. So I don't know much about this guy. I think he's an associate of, who's the Joel Osterman? Osteen, yeah, Osterman. Mm-hmm. Why did Osterman sounds familiar for something? But he is he's still an associate pastor with Joe, but he's at Relentless Church. Basically, he gave a $200,000 car to his wife, and I read the article, so it's a little bit of clickbaity. I'll let people know, and I'm glad I read it. But I don't see the receipts from it. But he said he spent the money on it from he's rich before that church. Mm-hmm. So he said no money was spent from church funds on that.
Well, that's encouraging.
It is encouraging, but come on, dude. Like,
seriously.
Can you buy her a $50,000 Lexus?
Yeah.
No one would even bat an eye at that. But you buy her a Lamborghini. A Lamborghini.
Wow.
Even if you bought her a $200,000 BMW, it probably would go under the radar. But you buy her a Lamborghini. I guess it was an SUV, so it wasn't like the Lamborghini I'm thinking of where it's got the...
we saw one in Chicago.
Oh, like a legit sports one where the the doors go up. Yep. What do they call those? Not suicide doors. That's when they open the other way. I don't know what they call them. But
and also, who cares? Like, why does this need to become a thing in the news?
Well, I think some of the congregation, I think the median income in the area where he's at is $56K. Gosh. So,
household.
For the household income.
Man.
Yeah. So I think some people, like obviously a lot of people in the congregation were supporting him, but I don't know. It's just a bad move.
Yeah.
And
why can't you take that money and invest some of it in your community? And maybe he already has.
I'm not. Once I read the article, I'm not completely throwing him under the bus. I just think it was probably a poor PR move. Yeah. You're in the limelight. The problem is you're a leader of a church, and it doesn't say you have to be poor. I'm not asking you to be poor at all. I mean, you're obviously have done some things before. You're an author, so you have wealth. But it just seems like common sense not to do that.
Yeah,
to me,
you'd think.
But if it was you or I, it would never make the news, right? Because I mean, it might because someone locally bought a Lamborghini for his wife. I don't know, but I just think as a church, you should be, or as a pastor of a church, you're kind of held to a little bit different standard.
Oh, you absolutely 100% are.
You're especially in a mega church like that, you're all over the place. So,
yeah. I mean, you could interpret this passage different ways, but the Bible does say that those who are teachers of God's word are held to a higher standard.
Yeah.
And if you believe that to be true, and I do, then this guy's got a lot to answer to God for.
Well, the problem is it's kind of a gray area. Where do you draw the line?
Yeah.
50K, 100K? I mean, every church I've gone to, I guarantee you there's no pastors driving a $50,000 car.
No kidding.
So, I don't know. Take it for what it's worth. I'm not completely throwing him under the bus. I just think it probably could have been done a better way.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. Because, I mean, a Lamborghini is just like, it's flashy. Yeah. So it's like,
look at me.
Look at me. Like, and how about don't do that?
Yeah, why do you need that? Like, what does the Lamborghini offer that the Lexus doesn't?
Right. But... all right, that is it for our current events.
Yeah, so I brought with me the Ungame.
We've played this a bunch of times. It's pretty fun. Pretty fun. Oh, we got 2s and 1s mixed together, bro.
I know. That's like not acceptable. There might even be some that we have answered already.
Oh boy, that's all right. It's been a while since we played this.
Oh wow, these are really deep.
Oh great. All right, I'm asking you.
So am I supposed to read? Which one do you want me to read?
Well, those are for me.
Oh, gotcha. Wow, I forgot how to play your own game.
Yeah, it's not that complicated. Do you want to get out Shoots and Lazarus? Lazarus, I screwed it up.
Lazarus.
Dang it. Shoots and Lazarus. All right.
Complete. Oh, sorry. What do you want?
What the heck? Who's going first? I'll go first for you. Oh, this is funny. I could answer this one too. Describe the most unpleasant job you ever had to do. Like, regardless if you got paid for it or not.
I would say when I was a camp counselor, I had a camper who, in the middle of the night, woke up, went to the door, and peed on everybody's shoes in his sleep.
Oh, no.
It was disgusting. And I'm this 18-year-old recent high school grad, and just like...
right.
Yikes, what do I do? So in the middle of the night, I had to take all the shoes of the campers in my cabin and wash them.
And then, like, hang them out to dry.
Yep. It was so bad.
That's not that bad, though.
It is when you're 18.
All right, I got a side story about bowels. So Megan's work partner, I'm not going to mention the name, but her daughter, they were on a cruise. They were on a cruise with Jesper.
Yeah.
The same boat. They never ended up meeting. There was 4,000 people on that boat, I guess.
Wow.
But anyway, she somehow drank some of the Mexican water.
Ooh.
I don't know. She drank a drink, but they didn't use bottled water. So it was just, this is related to the worst job. So she started having some tummy issues. She barely made it into the bathroom, but her pants dropped and it went everywhere in the bathroom, like not in the toilet. And the maid had to come clean it up.
No.
I'm like, is that not the worst job ever? She handed the maid like a wad of cash. And it's like, I'm so sorry. But that's disgusting. So my worst job, I used to work in a furniture factory that made, they took veneer pieces very thin and ran it through this spreader that put glue on them. And then you would stack them together. And then basically the movie seats you sit at, I probably didn't make the one you sat at, but the wood inside the upholstered part, we made at this factory. So it's basically just pieces of veneer. I mean, like really thin, like 15 of them, and then we push them together.
Wow.
So in the area, there was this pit from all the runoff and everything. I've had to clean that pit out. It smelled so bad. It was like in the ground. I don't even know how OSHA approved this. Maybe they didn't. But I would go down there like once a month, and it smelled I mean, it just was like everything, like water,
Yeah.
and it had to be cleaned out, and it was like glue, like runoff glue and everything. It smelled. It was horrible.
Man.
It was horrible. My clothes were trashed after that. That's probably the worst thing. So,
Wow. Complete the sentence. I am the kind of person who. You can take that however you want. Don't overthink it, though.
well, I'll be like, I'll be your best friend, but if you break my trust, we're gonna have problems. Something like that.
Yeah, I like that.
Or if you mouth off, I'll punch you in the face. No, I won't. I don't know. You could do that a million ways.
It's true. I would say I am the kind of person who.
Don't overthink it, Ben.
I know, right? The kind of person who loves people but hates people too.
Yeah, you are. One of my financial advisor's wife, who I went to high school with, is a lot like you. She's an introvert, but when she's around people that she knows well, she's not an introvert.
Yeah.
She likes to hang out and laugh
And it's so interesting that I'm in sales
yeah, it is.
because that's not an introvert type.
Well, but I
job.
think you're an introvert when it comes to huge groups of people and
Yes.
crowds. But when you're doing your job as just one-on-one or
Yeah.
one on a couple, you're in your
Rocket.
you're fine. So, all right, I didn't think we had this one before. I'm going to say it, but if we have, we can go to the next one. Say something about poverty.
I think we did. do
Yeah,
that
I
one.
think we did that one. I'm gonna go to. I'm going to the well. Oh, jeez.
Uh-oh.
What are your reasons for wanting to go on living?
Wow.
I mean, come on.
I would say number one, my family.
Right.
Like, I just love my kids, and I'm excited about where they're at in life and the progress they're making, and I just can't wait to see what their life looks like as adults.
Well, this question implies like you're on the edge of a cliff and you're ready to jump. Like
Yeah.
it's like, what are your reasons for wanting to go on living? I'm like, haven't thought about it this week.
Right.
So, are you done?
That's probably the biggest.
Yeah.
And then my story's not done yet. Like,
Yeah.
who am I to say, that's it, we're done, pull the plug?
Right.
So,
Are you a plug puller? Speaking of that.
for people that are on their deathbed,
So, like, have you and Andy talked about that?
yes,
Do you have a will in the state for that or
we
not?
do.
Okay.
So,
I'm just curious. You don't have to answer
no,
it.
and I read my dad actually shared an article earlier today. It was really interesting about this whole thing.
What?
Yeah,
That's awesome. That's an interesting thread, Ben.
I know. How about that? So my dad posted this article about this woman who was in horrible health.
I'm so sorry.
Way to go.
I'm so sorry.
This woman was in horrible health. She, her mind wasn't functioning. She wasn't even there, like intellectually. But her son just insisted on doing everything to keep her alive. And then it came to a point where the son thought he knew better, and he's like, she doesn't need to be in this home. She can just come live with me. And so he took mom to live with him, but didn't take care of her. And adult social services was called at some point because she was basically in a pile of feces and urine and bed sores. And so then they took her to the hospital, and she had the DNR, like do not resuscitate was the order she signed. But somehow her son was able to.
That's BS. That's on the. See, I didn't let you finish. Go ahead.
Her son was able to convince the powers that be that she wasn't in the right state of mind when she signed that, so therefore it's not in effect. So they kept her alive, and she needed emergency CPR. And so as they're administering CPR, they're breaking her ribs because she's in such poor health. And so the whole point of the article was let your parents die with dignity.
Yes.
So
I'm appalled at and we don't know the story, but at the staff. I mean,
yeah.
Unless you get a court order that says otherwise, they're supposed to follow that.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if the kid said she wasn't in her right mind. If a judge had already signed it and it's law, not law, but it's a document that's legally binding.
Right.
That's a shame.
Yeah. So, and it was written from the medical workers. The person who wrote the article was a nurse.
Okay.
And she was basically encouraging everybody, let your parents choose if they want to be resuscitated or not. It's like the last thing you can give them.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Yeah. There was another article just recently about that woman that became pregnant. Yeah. That was in a vegetative state for 14 years. And the first thing Megan and I, like, we kind of talked about it during the day when we were sitting at the dinner table, we're like, why is she still alive?
Yeah.
Like, we're like, what is going on?
Seriously.
Like 14 years?
Yeah.
What a way to live.
You're not living.
You're not living.
And clearly somebody took advantage of her.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just horrendous.
That's disgusting. I don't know how you're going to find that person. I mean, that's crazy. But yeah, we're plug pullers. I mean, Megan for sure is like from the medical field. She's like, if there's nothing going on in the brain, I give it 2 days.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, whoa. I'm like, I might want a little more than 2 days, but she's like, nope. Have everyone come in and let's get this done with.
Yeah.
So, yeah, interesting. Let's see. I got one more. All right. I asked you.
It's my turn to ask you, right?
Correct. Oh, I didn't say what are your reasons for going on living. It's pretty standard. I mean, my family. I like living.
Yeah.
I mean, I know where I'm going to go when I die, but right now I'm having fun.
Yeah.
I'm meeting new people. I'm doing things I like to do.
Oh, we had our first year friend anniversary on Facebook recently.
Oh, we did? I didn't see it.
Yep.
Oh,
yep.
We've come a long way in a year.
It's true.
Holy cow. All right, what's up? Is it a deep one? Oh, balls.
Share a childhood experience with death.
Ooh, I've never had a child. Well, I mean, we can go real deep on that, but I'm not going to. Did I tell my story about my mom backing out of the garage? Did I tell it? I probably did.
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know where I told it, but that's the only thing that pops in mind. Excuse me, monster coming back. We had one night, I had my buddy over. His name was John Adebacher. I don't know where he is. I should look him up. Like, we were friends when we were younger, but
interesting.
You're going to look him up?
I don't even know how to spell that.
Yeah, it's a weird last name. I can picture his house on Plymouth and Burton. It was like 4 houses to the north off of Burton. And we went to Montessori together. I went to a Montessori school till like I was 3rd grade, but he was over. I remember that. And my mom's like, hey, let's go, let's not tell the girls, like my younger sisters, let's go get some ice cream or whatever. It really has nothing to do with death. I just shut up. I thought I was going to die because, my mom wasn't always the nicest, but so we sneak in the car and it's a station wagon and we left the door open and my mom got in the car and gassed it and bent the door back like the other way, like made it a suicide door. And, I was scared to death that my mom was going to kick my ass because it was my fault. That's my death story. That's so lame. It's a good story though, because like we were freaking out, we were crying, and I think my mom was actually cool with it. I think she laughed. I'm like, I bet my dad didn't. I don't remember that, but yeah.
Ugh.
Well, you've had close to death. Your freaking bike accident.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it wasn't a flash in front of your face, but you could have got schmucked real good.
Yeah. I mean, if the injury was half an inch lower on my spine, it would have been over. So
wow.
Yeah, that was pretty frightening.
Yeah, that was when you were in college, or
yes, I was a sophomore, I believe.
Sophomore.
Yeah.
Riding your bike. So here's a lesson to you folks: don't ride your bike. It is. I see people riding their bike. I'm like, people are on their phone way too much.
If you're gonna ride your bike, stick to the trails.
Yeah.
Don't try to share the road.
It's crazy. Well, Ivan Rest out here, they're having a road diet. So right now it's 4 lanes, right? Next summer it's gonna be 2 lanes, 1 north, 1 south, a turn lane, and 2 bike lanes. I'm like, no one's gonna use that thing.
You never know.
I don't know. I would never do it nowadays. It's so dangerous. I see people like when I'm working during the day, I'm just waiting at the light and they are just down on their phone and like the light will go green. Let's say I'm going to turn left. Because when you're sitting in the truck, you can look down. They're on their phone. It turns green. They gas it. They don't even look up. They just go through the light. I'm like, are you nuts?
Wow.
Oof.
At least they go.
Well, yeah, yeah. At least they go. If you're gonna get schmucked, at least you're getting out of my way, so I can keep going. So, all right, I think that's it for the Ungame. We want to make sure that you guys check out our Facebook page. Obviously, we're live streaming, but we do post stuff, and we like interaction. We like people talking to us because Ben and I talk to each other enough. So we'd like to hear your opinion about things and what we talk about. And anything, we do have Instagram, and again, we don't post a lot of it. Ben and I are super busy, but Facebook is the best way to get a hold of us, like Facebook Messenger, if you have any questions. We are looking for guests. I have a couple of people in mind. I just don't know where they would fit in and what we're going to talk about.
Sure.
But I like having guests on. I liked having David on.
Yeah.
I liked challenging him a little bit. And
he did well with it, too.
He did. And Megan said, she's like, I like how you challenged him. I'm like, well, I want to have some conversation. I don't want it all to be like we're sucking up to David. And not that I was being mean about it, but I was curious. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, check out our Facebook page and review us. Yes. We'll give you free stuff.
It's true.
All right. Unfiltered finale. I don't know what yours is. I read it and I was like, that's weird. So why don't you go first?
Yeah. Well, so I work in sales. I sell copy machines. It's
wait a minute. What is our unfiltered finale? A connection that we've made. Yeah. I forgot to preface that for people that haven't listened before.
Right.
So our unfiltered finale is just something that it doesn't mean it has to be a new person, but someone that we connected with that we're like, oh, that was cool. Mm-hmm. So go ahead. I apologize.
Thank you. You interrupted me.
Yeah, but I had to preface that. That was a necessity.
Yeah, way to go introducing that segment.
I know. My bad.
Well, so a person that I met, it happened today. It always happens this way. Like, we set a time to record, and then I meet a random person hours before.
I wish that happened to me.
Yeah. So, in my job at work, I sell copy machines, and a lot of my day on Tuesday and Thursday is spent on the phone setting up appointments. And today, during my phone block, I had just made my first couple of calls. Next thing I know, there's a customer that walks in and wants to see me.
At the office?
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of random.
It is very random because usually I'm the one that calls them and I set the appointment and I go to their office.
Right.
People don't just show up wanting to meet with me, but this guy did.
That's interesting.
And I had proposed a piece of equipment to him, pretty small. He works at a very small church in the area. Mm. And part of me is a little bit upset that he didn't respect my time enough to call ahead and let me know he was coming.
Right.
But he's in his 80s, maybe.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it's really weird. So he comes in and he's just like, yeah, want to take a look at that machine you proposed to us. Well, I didn't have one ready.
Right.
Like, it's not out of the box. So I showed him the closest one that we had.
Yeah.
And this guy, wanted to know absolutely everything about what the copier could do. Like, can this enlarge my sermon notes so that I can read them?
That's not what I thought you were going to say. I don't know why my head's in the gutter. I apologize.
And I was like, yeah, actually, you can enlarge it up to 400%. And he's just like, oh, my goodness. And then you can copy front to back on the same side of paper. And then he's asking me about, well, what does scanning do?
You're like, you need to hire someone that's like 25 that can help you out.
So, it was fine. I was really annoyed that he interrupted my time and did that. But the ending of our interaction was just so interesting. So we wrap up the demo, and then he's just like, do you know Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior? Mm. And I said, well, yes, sir, I do. And then he reaches out. And then he asked me about my church and where I go to church and who the pastor is. I think he wanted to find out if I was bluffing or if I actually...
You think that's what he was doing?
Well, I think so. So it was really interesting. And then he reaches out his hand and says, thank you, Brother Ben, for your time. And before he lets go of my hand, he starts praying for me.
Okay, that's weird.
That was so weird.
That's weird.
So weird. So this is by far the most interesting, odd, unannounced interaction.
So
in a
when he
long
started
time.
praying for you, did he ask if he could?
Nope.
See, that's
He just had my hand in a handshake and just went to pray.
what did he say?
He was just like, I thank you, God, for this young man who was very courteous with me and took the time to show me this machine. I pray for his future success and in this line of business that he's in. And I mean, super nice guy, but wholly awkward.
Was anyone else in the office?
Yes. Everybody was.
Did they say something after you left?
Yes. So I go back to my desk and the other two reps, they're new. And
Yeah.
they look at me and they're like, does that happen often?
They're like, I need to find a new job.
And I'm like, no, that does not happen often. That's never happened before. And I'm a little bit peeved about what just happened.
So I have a couple of points with that. First of all, did you make the sale?
Yes, he's going to buy it.
He's going to buy it?
Yep.
And second of all, I wanted to bring something up, and Megan and I just talked about this yesterday, which is kind of funny that you brought it up. What is your opinion on the praying thing when someone says, like when it's minuscule, like I'm waiting to get this shirt in that I really want or I need for something, let's say. Mm-hmm. And they're like, I'll pray that the shirt comes in.
You know, there was a time in life where I would say that's stupid to pray for things like that. And I think I still might say that occasionally, just the human side of me. But when I stop and pause and think about it, if my kid wanted something really bad, he'd tell me about it. He'd tell me about it over and over and over again. My son did that with the Xbox we bought him for Christmas. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is I don't think God is ever annoyed to hear his kids come to him and say, I'd really like for this to happen.
The human side of it makes me think you're just being dumb and selfish.
Perhaps, but God is a giver
that's
of
kind
good
of
gifts.
Yeah, but that's a narcissistic thing, don't you think? Now, to play devil's advocate, I hate saying that. I always screw that up.
You did it.
With the T-shirt, if the T-shirt was needed to be there because this person was putting on a program that she had stress about, and if she didn't have it, things wouldn't go right. I'm okay with praying about the stress around that situation, but after actually specifically saying, I'm going to pray that UPS guy kicks ass today and he gets that shirt to you. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm being jerkish, but I just think that's dumb.
Yeah, I don't know.
Personally.
Sure.
That should be our poll question. I don't know how I'm going to word that because you only get limited amount of characters. And no, I think you can get unlimited in the question, but the responses you have to get, I think it's limited. But we should start doing polls again. I like to, although no one ever votes except my wife and Andy maybe. So
Jeffrey Birkenpass tuned in.
Good old Jeff. You met him over the New Year's, didn't you? Yeah, New Year's Eve.
He's been driving
forever. Probably before you.
Yeah,
he's been driving forever. So, so my unfiltered finale or my connection it's not huge, but I have another friend named Ben. His daughter is autistic and used to work. Not the daughter. Ben used to be Megan's manager.
Okay.
Back in the day. And so we've hung out as couples, but him and I have never hung out alone. We coached VIP soccer together up in Cedar.
Okay.
Good guy. He's still nursing. He's not a manager role. He's a NICU nurse. No, I lied. He's not a NICU nurse. He's a peds ICU nurse.
So he went from management back to nurse?
Yeah, he will say this, so it's nothing. He's just not. Management wasn't working out for him. It was
not
tough.
For everybody.
I'll be honest with you. Ben is super nice. So I think he had a tough time
being not
a jerk.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, and you're on that floor, there was over 350 nurses.
Oh, wow.
So there was, he wasn't the only manager, but there was like 3 or 4 of them. But he loves what he's doing now. He's working one day in the PICU, and then he's doing emergency medicine in Greenville, like ER.
Huh.
He loves it.
Interesting.
Oh, he's got he told me some funny stories
I'm sure.
about the ER and
Greenville, especially. Oh,
yeah. So, anyways, we went to a concert together, the Pop Evil concert, and it was just cool. Like we went out to dinner, and it was just finally nice to not have the wives around.
Yeah. Our wives, your wives.
But I didn't say, yeah, close enough.
You know.
And it was just good. He's a good guy, and I'd like to hang out with him more, but we're busy. Like, he's like, let me look into, I'm into March, because they work weekends.
Sure.
His wife is a nurse, too, and
Okay.
she's ready to go on maternity leave. They're ready to have their third kid and stuff. But, no, it was cool. We had a good time. He hadn't been to a concert since he'd been in high school.
What?
So he
Wow.
loved it, and
I'm
it
sure.
it was fun to hang out and drink some beers and stuff like that.
Nice.
So, but yeah, so that's about all I have.
Yeah, my friend from Oregon, who doesn't live in Oregon anymore,
No,
lives in South Carolina now.
South Carolina.
He just joined. Hi, Chad.
Of course, after we're all done,
You know,
we
right at the end of the show. But
Yeah.
that's okay.
No, it was a good break. I'm glad we finally sat down. I was a little worried about you today. I was wondering if you were going to try to bag it.
Oh no.
No, it seemed like you came with some energy when you got here.
Oh, yeah.
So, but yeah, we are looking ahead, and I don't know. I like the guests. I
Me
do
too.
like it. Not that I don't like talking to you, but
Justin says it's too short of a show. We can't be done yet. So
too short. It's been at least an hour.
I know, right?
I
well,
think-
our last one was 2 hours. So
Yeah, our last one was a long one.
we're at about
And-
a minute or an hour and 12 minutes.
No, that's about what we shoot for.
Yeah.
2 hours. If anyone listened to the whole thing, I congratulate you, because that was long. And I don't think it was super. Megan loved the Dutch bingo. I never heard that before. She was cracking up about that. Like, oh, you know this, you know her. And now that his wife Carol, it was Carol, right? I think it was
Yes.
Carol.
I think so.
I do
know that.
I do recognize her from that play.
Oh,
I remember
really?
her being there. I don't think we ever spoke,
Sure.
but I do recognize her now that we made that connection. So,
Yeah, it's just so much fun to get guests in here. And it's Carol. Yes.
Carol, I was right.
Yes.
Okay.
You're always right.
No.
So
Did everyone hear that? Anyone that's still watching or just tuned in? Ben said I'm always right.
yeah. Justin wants us to go for 2.5 hours today.
That's not happening because my bladder is at max capacity.
And Chad Nodine, he lives in North Carolina, not South Carolina.
Okay.
So
He went to the church that you were at, or
yeah, he plays in a plays. I'm not sure. I try to follow him on Facebook as much as I can. But
you're a liar. You don't.
he's a musician, dude.
Oh yeah.
I do follow him, and he's been working with a clothing company.
Well, don't say I try to follow him. You either do or you don't.
You don't like that word, do you? Do you feel triggered by the word try?
No, I'm not a snowflake. I'm not a snowflake.
Awesome.
So we're gonna wrap it up, and we appreciate it. We're getting back into things again, and we're gonna have some
Yeah.
guests on. I want to have my friend Brandy on, who's Megan's friend too. We're kind of family friends. I don't know where she could fit in. She's got she's just good. She's got a story kind of like mine. So yeah, I don't know what topic we could bring her in on, but she's a rock star.
Awesome.
But you got anything else?
No, I just want to say thank you to those that did tune in and stay with us for a little bit.
Yeah, how did everyone like that? I had so much fun at the Christmas episode.
I know.
I was peeing my pants having so much fun. Like, I was...
It's the coolest.
No.
Name that movie.
It's the coolest?
Yeah.
I don't-
Peeing your pants. Billy Madison.
I'm not a huge Adam
Wow.
Sandler fan.
I'm ashamed.
But no, I had a ball doing that and people chiming in and Andy getting almost every frickin' one. That was awesome. I
It
said
was.
frickin' everyone. That was frickin'. Thank you. All right, I'm babbling. Ben, you want to kill the live stream since you can do it from there?
I will.
Yes.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
We need a producer.
Justin, where are you?
Bye-bye. Let me know when they're killed. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter if I get up now.
You want to do it? Because it's not letting me.
It's not letting you.
It's not responding to my click.
Well, get off it. I can't do it.